Hi everyone, and welcome back to TechBytes, tips and resources for educators, brought to you by MASSP. My name is Ryan Casey, and for this edition of TechBytes, I want to show you some ways to stay organized, to get your year off on the right foot by keeping organized in Google Calendar. So even if you use Outlook Calendar, a lot of the things I'm going to show you will work for the Microsoft version of the Calendar product as well. So to get started, I'm in my Google Calendar. I want to just talk about the way you lay your calendar out and how you just kind of visually organize it. So up in the upper right corner, you can see mine by default is showing by the week. You can actually change this. So if you're the type of person that only wants to see this one day at a time, you can do that. I prefer the week, which we already saw. You can also view by month, year. Another one that's pretty popular is by the schedule, and then you could print this page out maybe every day or every 2 days and kind of just keep a list on your desk of the different meetings or reminders that you have set up in there. What I actually like to do is look at it by the week, and then I can still go into here and turn off show weekend. So if I really want to literally focus on the work week of Monday through Friday, I can do that. So a really important feature with Google Calendar is the ability to share your calendar with others and give them access to either view it or even add events to your calendar as well. So for example, again, if you wanted to have a calendar and give access to your staff or your secretary or the other people on your administrative team, that'd be very important. So they can see when you're free or when you're busy. They can set reminders for you, things like that. So when you get ready to share your calendar out, you just go over to the My Calendar area and you click on Options, Settings, and Sharing. And it's just kind of this long page that you can scroll through, and there's a lot of different options here. So for example, you can see all the different people that have access to My Calendar. If you want to add somebody, simply hit Add People, and then you can type in the email address. And then you can choose what permission level. So do you want to let them see your event details or actually give them the access to change events and add events and even share your calendar out with others? So I know I always had my secretary, my administrative assistant have access to my calendar, so she could add in meetings for parents that requested meetings with me, or when it was evaluation time, all the pre-observation meetings and post-observation meetings, getting those on my calendar for me made it a lot easier. So now I'm going to go ahead and add an event to my calendar. So I'm going to click on one of these grids, and then I'm going to go down to More Options. Just going to give it a title real quick. So a couple options on that screen that I think a lot of people tend to just kind of glaze over. Number one, after they choose the date and time for the event, is having the option to have it repeat. So if this is a routine event that happens, if you're putting your board meetings on your calendar, and your board meetings are always the second Tuesday of every month, you can actually do that. So Google will recommend, is this daily, is this every week on the same day, or the first Wednesday of the month in this case, annually. So for example, I always set birthdays on my Google Calendar, so I just set it one time and it'll automatically repeat it every year. And then you can even go to a custom spot where you can have it only last 8 different times, or repeat this on this day at this time until a certain date and time in the future. So this custom reoccurrence is really helpful too. Another thing that people I don't think add all the time is the location. So especially if you are traveling maybe to an athletic league meeting or a principals meeting, if you actually take the time and type out the address, when this will pop up on your phone or your computer, or if you're using the Google Calendar app, you can click on it and then it'll pull up your maps on your phone, and it'll help use GPS to get you there as well. So if you don't have those details in there, you would have to type that in manually while you're driving, which of course we don't want you doing that. So adding in the actual location, especially maybe if it's off campus, is really important. Here's that notification area. So by default, all of my notifications pop up 10 minutes before the event. You can change that still at any time. So do you want it to pop up, or do you want it to be an email reminder? Again, how many minutes, hours, days, or weeks ahead of time? You can have multiple. And they can be the different kinds. So I want to do an email also maybe one day before. So let's say I had a faculty meeting coming up. I would send an email reminder myself 2 weeks out, 1 week out, and then 1 day out. Again, multiple notifications just so I knew I was prepared and that I had things in order. There's also a description area down here. So if you are having an event and you're going to share it with other people and you want them to come, maybe you're having a school improvement meeting, go ahead and put the agenda right in there so people know what's going to be discussed on the meeting. You can actually add attachments to this, including Google Docs, so people have access to those items so they can prepare, especially if you want them to read something ahead of time. And then last but not least, the guest area, which I'm sure I know a lot of you know how to use. This is where you would enter in the name or email address of somebody that you want to attend the meeting. Make sure you check out the check boxes underneath, because you can give those guests certain privileges like modifying the event, like changing the time or the date, or whether or not they can invite others or see who else are coming. And that's going to do it for this edition of TechBytes featuring Google Calendar. I hope everybody watching was able to pick up some features maybe they didn't know about, and they're going to start using them this upcoming school year. Again, you can find all of the TechByte videos on the new MASSP.com website. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.